At 03:17 time, a passive sonar array on the seabed registers a new contact. Transient narrowband lines appear on the frequency display, low probability of intercept propulsion noise. The bearing is steady, coming down the eastern edge of the Denmark Strait. Range: approximately 140 nautical miles from the nearest NATO listening post. Within 8 minutes, the contact is reclassified from probable biologic to probable submarine. No friendly unit is scheduled in that sector. No commercial traffic either. The watch officer in the shore-based analysis cell speaks one quiet sentence into the secure voice circuit. New probable SSN southbound. We are starting the track. 4 minutes later, a second shore station confirms the same faint signature. The two bearings crossed at a point 60 miles southeast of Greenland's Blossville coast. The contact is moving at an estimated 8 to 9 knots, course 180, directly toward the open waters south of the GIUK Gap. No one speaks the next obvious sentence aloud. Everyone in the room already understands what they are looking at. The plot is assigned the designator S47, E-escalation. By 15:40, the contact has increased speed to 12 knots and begun a gentle zigzag, not random, but large radius legs of roughly 15 degrees each side of base course. This is classic route survey dissection behavior. At 6:12, a Norwegian P-8A departs Andøya carrying a full Sonobuoy load. 23 minutes later, a second P-8 lifts off from Keflavik. At 7008, S-47 goes silent. No propulsor noise, no transients, no flow noise above background. The acoustic picture collapses to ambient sea state. 3 minutes later, a faint 50 to 60 Hz blade rate line reappears. Very low level, brief, then gone again. Someone in the analysis cell mutters, "He's snapping a picture." At 08:35, a Royal Navy Type 23 frigate, currently conducting independent patrol 500 miles to the southeast, receives flash tasking, proceed north at best speed. Prepare ASW screen. At 09:50, S-47 begins a slow, deliberate turn to the west, toward the projected track of a NATO carrier group that is conducting cyclic flight operations 300 miles southwest of Iceland. The turn is not rushed, it is calm, almost leisurely, but it is unmistakable. Why this moment matters. The waters southeast of Greenland are not disputed territory. They are international waters. Yet they sit astride one of the most militarily significant undersea corridors on the planet. Any submarine that crosses south of the GIUK line, without being continuously tracked by NATO forces, gains the ability to reach the deep Atlantic staging areas for ballistic missile submarines, carrier strike groups, and the sea lines that supply Western Europe. A modern nuclear attack submarine positioned in that area can, in theory, hold every major port from Halifax to Rotterdam at risk with long-range cruise missiles, threaten transatlantic reinforcement shipping, place itself within weapons range of deployed carrier battle groups before they are aware of its presence. When such a platform deliberately moves toward an active NATO surface group that is already being shadowed, every decision becomes a matter of time, distance, and perceived intent. A misread maneuver, a poorly timed active sonar ping, an overly aggressive close approach by either side. Any one of these can begin a chain of events that neither commander wants, and both sides know it. Pressure vs control. The submarine maintains between 22 and 28 nautical miles from the carrier group's outermost ring for the next 11 hours. It does not close further. It does not open either. It simply exists at that distance. Always present, always audible when it wants to be, always silent when it chooses silence. This is classic close-in shadow doctrine. Remain close enough to be threatening, far enough to claim innocence if challenged. On the NATO side, the response is layered and restrained. The carrier reduces cyclic operations to case-eye recovery only. Fewer aircraft in the air, lower deck spot factor. The inner screen tightens from 8 to 6 nautical miles. 2 destroyers take up dedicated pouncer stations 5 miles ahead of the carrier's projected track. Both P-8s maintain continuous racetrack patterns at medium altitude, dropping fresh sonobuoy fields every 40 minutes. A Virginia-class submarine that was already trailing the carrier group quietly moves to an intercept position along the predicted path of S-47. No one transmits on UHF guard. No one illuminates with active radar. No one drops a single practice depth charge. The message is sent through geometry and persistence alone. We see you. We are tracking you continuously. We have assets in depth, on the surface and in the air. We are not surprised. We are not nervous. We are waiting. Delayed technical reveal. The platform conducting this shadow is a Project 8885M Yasen-M class nuclear attack submarine, one of the most capable undersea units in the Russian Navy. Very low acoustic signature at cruise speeds, advanced bow and flank arrays, long-range anti-ship and land attack missiles, wake-homing torpedoes, and the ability to deploy unmanned underwater vehicles. Opposing it that day are two P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft, multi-static acoustic search, high-altitude endurance, real-time data link to surface units, one Type 23 frigate with Type 2087 towed array and Type 2050 bow sonar, one Arleigh Burke-class destroyer with ANSQS-53C hull array and MH-60R helicopter carrying AQS-22 dipping sonar, one Virginia-class SSN quiet, wide aperture arrays, advanced combat system, organic offboard sensors. These units are linked through a classified wide area network that shares acoustic tracks, sonobuoy fields, periscope detections, and SIGINT hits in near real time. Critical danger point. At 21:40 Zulu, the range closes to 11 nautical miles, the shortest separation recorded during the entire encounter. S-47 begins a rapid descent from 400 to 720 feet over the course of 90 seconds. Simultaneously, the frigate transmits 3 active sonar pings, short, medium, long, on the bow array. Not a search pattern. A single, unambiguous "We hold you" message. 8 seconds after the last ping, S-47's propulsor briefly cavitates. A sudden speed surge, then immediate cutback. The cavitation signature lasts less than 2 seconds, long enough to be heard, short enough to be plausibly accidental. In the carrier's Combat Direction Center, the tactical action officer looks at the senior watch officer. Neither speaks. Both know the same thing. If a weapon had left a tube at that moment, the decision window would already be closed. For the next 4 minutes, the entire force holds its breath. No further cavitation, no torpedo launch transient, no counter detection of incoming weapon. The moment passes. Silent shift. At 22,019's 47 begins a slow, wide turn to the north-northeast. Base course changes from 185 degrees to 015 degrees over 18 minutes. Speed decreases to 6-7 knots. Acoustic signature fades steadily. The Virginia-class SSN follows at deep depth, maintaining trail without transmitting. The P-8s adjust their patterns northward. The surface screen opens slightly. No order is given to disengage or cease tracking. There is no victory announcement. The geometry simply changes. The submarine is leaving. The force continues to observe, calmly, professionally, without comment. De-escalation. By 4:30 the next morning, S-47 is back above the Greenland-Iceland Gap threshold, course now steady toward the Norwegian Sea. Range from the nearest NATO unit exceeds 120 nautical miles. The carrier group resumes normal cyclic operations at 6:15. The P-8s return to base. The frigate and destroyer resume independent patrol patterns. No diplomatic note is sent. No public statement is released. No protest is filed. The ocean returns to its usual rhythm. Beja-minning encounters of this nature are no longer rare. They have become part of the normal operating pattern in the North Atlantic and the Norwegian Sea. Russia has invested heavily in regenerating its undersea force. New hulls, quieter propulsion, longer-range weapons, improved sensors. NATO has responded with renewed focus on ASW training, forward-deployed patrol aircraft, seabed surveillance upgrades, and closer integration of Allied submarine forces. Each side is demonstrating capability, intent, and readiness without crossing into open conflict. Yet every prolonged close contact increases the probability of accident or miscalculation, a single mistaken depth charge drop, a misinterpreted emergency rise, a collision at high speed in deep water. Any of these could force commanders into rapid decisions with very little time and incomplete information. The waters around Greenland, Iceland, and the GIUK Gap remain one of the most sensitive strategic seams on the planet. Control of those passages still shapes the ability of major powers to project power, or to deny it across the Atlantic. What happened that August day was not an isolated incident. It was one more data point in a long, quiet, serious competition that continues today. And it is reasonable to expect that similar meetings will happen again, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps next week, in the same cold, dark water.